it down. Oh yeah. Hello, welcome to a new video. My name is John Skippy Limcool. Welcome. Hey, so this is a video into a MIDI effect that we have created that is part of Unify 1.1. It's called JitterBox, and it does all sorts of things. It's very flexible. It's a timing randomizer and a pitch randomizer. And the way that you can use it and the difference that it makes with and without it is pretty eye-opening. So I want to show you some examples, okay? In this example right here, everybody is actually playing with a JitterBox on them. And I've actually gone a step farther, and I've actually set up each one of these instruments and assigned, if I go over here to the real-time control knobs, I have opened up and set up every one of them so that I have a slider. Here, go to this camera view. Isn't that cool? Check this out. So I have slider action for changing the JitterBox timing. So I'm going to show you what it sounds like. Let's start without it, and then I'll add it, okay? And then I'll add too much so you can hear what happens if you add too much and it kind of goes kind of first grade. But here, check it out. No timing, straight sequenced. Everything's perfect. Everybody plays all together. But nobody ever plays all together. That's just not real. Let's mess it up. Hear how everything is more relaxed? Let's go too far. First grade. But with attitude. Let's just solo the drums. Here's without it. There's this is from Contact 5 or Contact 6. Either one does it. This is a Contact 60s drum kit. I'll give you a cool tip. If you go to the 60s drummer, the 70s drummer, the 80s drummer, the studio drummer, all those, there's a page that says grooves. And on this page, you can choose, this is the Boogaloo number 1 8th note right. And you can hit play right here. I double timed it. And then I took and I dragged this as a MIDI file into Logic. And you just let go, and it is now a MIDI file inside of Logic. So you don't have to worry about the Groove Engine in here playing it or any of this type of stuff set up to like try to follow or anything like that. It's just now a MIDI file inside of Logic, so I can play that, right? And then the JitterBox for this it's affecting the notes because the way it works, my sequencer is playing the notes. It goes through JitterBox and then it gets to Contact. So any randomization that's put in on each timing event will show up inside of Contact. So I can get these things where it's got just, let's go back to the two drums together. The other one, by the way, that's Unify from Cloud City, one of the hip hop drum kits. Real nice together. Here's no timing change. Let's bring it up. It just makes everything relaxed and breathes so much more naturally. Okay? So let's just go to the big band section for a second. Check this out. And let's kill the reverb so we don't have... So that's no JitterBox. Let's open this up so we can see. I'm gonna bring it up. We actually have received notes from a number of customers that are using EWI wind controllers and guitar controllers and so forth to play multiple instruments, and they use JitterBox to get all sorts of just, it's human. There's a human quality. It's no longer sending perfect things. So for example, check this out. Here's a little line, just a big band. No JitterBox. Just makes such a nice difference. So you can use it in this way. I have a couple other ways to show you that are pretty interesting. I'm going to show you a library that we're working on that's not done yet. This is using the Spitfire $50 BBC Discover library, the Symphony Orchestra. First of all, let me show you something really cool. This is called Renegade Frenetic. And this is just an example of where we can go. I'm just going to play chords, and you can see the notes I'm playing, and you can see from there. Check this out. Isn't that nuts? So that's using, I'm not even going to explain what I'm doing, but I will in the future. Calm down, I'll show you later, but we're not there yet. But I want to show you that this is just the violin and the violas from that, playing just a simple. Okay, I have JitterBox on every layer, so there's 16 plugins, and here it is without any JitterBox. Let's bring up JitterBox, play the same thing. None. Hear how it's nice and just, it gives space instead of everything being so perfectly defined and playing so perfectly that it's imperfect. Just strings don't play that way, even the best. So this is a MIDI effect, which means you can apply it to anything. So let me show you how to do that. So go to the Unified Standard Library and type in drunken, believe it or not, D-R-U-N-K. Even drunk will get you there. And choose the drunken piano. And then turn off JitterBox. And now you have the piano where it plays perfectly. Now turn on JitterBox and play. And now you have that random time thing happening. So it's very easy to set up. You just assign, this is a MIDI effect up here, and it's been assigned right here to each one of that MIDI effect. So it goes through this and then into each of these layers. If I was to take one of these and take it off from this, so say just raw, so now I have one that's perfect. And then I have the other ones that are not perfect, right? So that is a cool way to get all sorts of variety from timing. But there's so many other places to use this because we do more than just random timing in the millisecond spaces. We actually can go into random in clock-based as well. So what that means is this. Let's go drum kit and let's call up Vintage King. This is a fun one to play with. Go over here and turn on MIDI box, right? And then go over here and say duplicate, and then go right here to the second layer and say creative JitterBox. And just like that, you have two guys playing, but one's randomly off all the time. So that's kind of cool. Now, some things to notice. You can shorten the amount of random time of delay right here. So you can also shift the whole thing if you move the left one to the right. And now it's like just a delay. Right? And then you can say after it's been delayed out that far, it's delayed, but now I have a random amount in that time that I've delayed it. So it's pretty fun. Now, what I want to show you is right here. Click where it says 0 to 150 milliseconds, and you'll notice we have timing values that are clock based. So if you choose one of these, like eighth notes, it's automatically just an eighth note delayed. And open up MIDI Box and then change this root to be a lower note. That makes the pitch go higher for this. And let's bring this up. And if we wanted to, let's go over here. Let's add something to get rid of the low end from it. So we go filter max on the reverb. And let's set it to be a high pass filter. And let's make this shorter. So we go to decay. That's cool. Now, let's randomize this to even more crazy things. Instead of just being random like that, you can actually have it randomized between no delay and an eighth note. And now you're into modular weird land. But we can actually break it down. We actually have a quantizer in here that can quantize it to simple note times, triplets, dotted, some combinations, or all note times that are not arbitrary. So let's just say simple note times. So the minimum is 16th notes. So this way you don't get any 32nd notes or 64th notes. You know, these are limited. If your checkbox is at 16th, then those below the checkbox are not allowed to play. So now it's just bouncing around, and now you have this cool random rhythm. It's pretty fun. Okay, so you can do all sorts of things with this. Let's do this. Copy this JitterBox setting. Let's say we also want to add super pop to this. So we say add super pop, let it change pitch. So we're going to say with this one, open up this turn on JitterBox, which actually it's already on, and turn on MIDI Box, but go to JitterBox and say paste settings. So that way it automatically pasted these randomizing settings. All sorts of places of craziness can be taken to. Now, I'm going to show you something else now. On top of all this stuff, let's go just to this. I've soloed just this third layer of super pop. Right? Like if I turn off JitterBox, our groove is there. Now it's messed up. On top of this though, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna turn on pitch jitter. But I want to limit the range because the drum kit's range is only from C1 to C6. So say any notes coming in, you can actually limit it so it only listens to a certain range on the keyboard if you want. But let's say only the whole range is gonna be listened to, but the notes it's allowed to spit out are between C1 and C6. Now I have it right now at 100% randomizing. So it's randomizing the pitch 100% of the time. So when we put that into the mix, let's bring it to 16th notes. And let's go to MIDI Box and let's have this note just like we did for the vintage kit Let's have it so we bring it down so it goes up in pitch. Then you just get these really cool things going on in the background of your groove. Maybe put delay on here. Right? There's so many fun places to go. Let me show you a little bit more about this pitch jitter. So we're gonna go to Cloud City. So I'm gonna go over here. I wanna show you this on the Shaker Smooth. Check this out. So this is the original reason I thought up JitterBox was to do this. Check this out. So if we turn off our MIDI file and our JitterBox, so we can just play the keyboard, this is a set of shaker samples. Here, let me get the top-down camera view. Hello up there, so you can see. Stops right here, okay? So I have all these notes, and I have a pattern that's playing that's kind of cool, right? I could even open this up and go to other patterns. That's cool. But I want to mix it up. The idea was to give me the chance to get different samples from there just randomly playing every now and then. So what we have is you can turn on pitch jitter. Let's turn on JitterBox because it's bypassed right now. And now when I play a note, I'm telling it to look at all the notes that come in, but it's only allowed to look between C1 and G1 and then randomly choose one of these samples 40% of the time. Just makes it mix it up. So you can say just a small percentage of time. Let's say we add a drum groove to this so you can kind of hear how it works in. Let's go to Ventura Boulevard and add this. Let's bring it to 100%. Shift the timing of the JitterBox. That's great. Versus this. So stiff. Just gives it life to have it changing just dynamically a little bit. There's this production trick that I learned a long time ago. You can have a completely sequenced track and you have one real time of a shaker that you've recorded with audio and the whole thing sounds real. And so that's kind of the concept here. You put a little bit of timing, just a little shifting of the timing a bit, and all of a sudden it doesn't have that like overly perfectly quantized feel to it. So any MIDI files you have, arpeggiators, all sorts of places you can go with this are available to you now. A couple other things that are really cool here. You can do such things as, let's go back to the standard library. Let's go to BPM bass. And there's an 8th note bass in here that's really fun to play with. So let's go BPM bass, sticky 8th note pulse. So call this up if you're playing along at home. The best way to learn how to do these is just repeat what I do. And then you go, oh, that's what it's doing. Then pause the video and play with the parameters and see how weird you can make it. You know, that's how it works. So we're gonna play. That's exciting, right? Now let's go over here and let's say duplicate this. So we now have a duplicate, and let's go over here. Now it's going to MIDI box. So a MIDI file is being played. It's currently latched to all 3 layers. I'm gonna right here sneak a JitterBox into this 3rd layer. So this new layer has let's go to Guru Sampler and let's have some fun. Stick it up an octave. And maybe a different sample. That's cool. And then instead of being the random timing, let's say, give it like a quarter note, 100%. You can click on these if you want to get to arbitrary like dotted quarter notes or triplet feels. You can just say that and it's, and let's say give it simple note times. If you want to make this even more unique to stand out, go over here, say add some reverb. Right? Now, let's really mess this up. Let's turn on pitch jitter. And let's let it take any notes that are coming in, but I want it to spit them out in a really high range. So it's just gonna become like a really cool, weird effect thing, right? So now, so you can bring your percentage to just be a little bit. Or you could even say a note. So I'm playing G, so I could say, no, let's have it be like G4. No matter what I play, I've told every note to be G4 except for when it randomizes. It's really fun. Go over here to the BPM drums. Let's say we wanted to add like a Jakarta groove. Let's say no pitch shifts. That way I can change keys and the drums won't shift. Okay, so let's stop right there. There's a lot. Actually, there's one more thing I can show you. Check this out. So this is kind of a weird trick, but it lets you do something kind of interesting. So here's Airwave's drum kit, the Airwave trance kit from the standard library. Playing a groove, right? Open JitterBox. Turn on pitch jitter. Click the main output note and set this percentage at 0. And now every note is being forced to play whatever note this is. So you can set to hi-hats. So I changed everything to be a hi-hat. And then if you wanted to, you could give it a percentage. So it throws in little extra accidentals in there. So you can take a drum groove that's, make it just play the hi-hats, and every now and then throw out a little random thing. So it can be used for all sorts of purposes. So again, hope this helps you get ideas of how to use these tools. Because bottom line, what I love the most about MIDIBox and JitterBox is they allow you to do unique, cool things to any plugin you own. Any instrument you own can be put through these effects. It's not exclusive to something that was designed just to work with, you know, Guru Sampler or something like that. These are made to make everything you own all of a sudden have new abilities beyond being able to be layered and split and stacked and all that kind of stuff. Now you can do things with timing that are really, really powerful. So hope this gets those juices flowing. Stay safe, and we will see you in another video soon, okay? Thanks.